Hotel Artemis is an action film directed by Drew Pearce, who is fairly new to the game, and stars Jodie Foster, Sterling K. Brown, Sofia Boutella, and Dave Bautista. It also stars Jeff Goldblum as a villain, which, let's all be honest, was a big part of garnering interest for the film. The plot effectively takes the Continental Hotel from John Wick and makes it a hospital, and this hospital is in the middle of one of the biggest riots in history due to public water being shut off. Bank job goes wrong, Sterling's brother steals a pen and gets shot, so they seek refuge and medical care in the Artemis, which is run by Jodie Foster's nurse and her ward Everest, played by Bautista. However, the pen that Honolulu stole contains gems that belong to the Wolf King Niagara, played by Goldblum, and he is on his way. And for the first hour, that is the entire build. Considering this is an action film, it takes its time before getting to the nitty gritty and takes time to build character and relationships. Nurse has crippling anxiety that prevents her from wanting to go outside, which is fantastic to see portrayed on the big screen. The relationship between her and Everest is really well built, with Bautista playing the tough guy with a big heart perfectly. In terms of their fellow patients, there is a high-class assassin nicknamed Nice, played by Sofia Boutella, and an arms dealer Al Capocco, played by Charlie Day. Each character is only referred to by the nickname based on what suite they are staying in, but some identities do get revealed at least halfway. Anyway, the film spends the first hour building these characters and who they are, as well as dropping a sprinkling of clues as to what's going to happen later on. This whole aspect is the best part of the film because eventually the Wolf King does show up and Goldblum is hilarious in some of his delivery, albeit being delivered when his character is under the influence. But once the action starts, the film gets like the Artemis and gets really messy. Before I get into the performances, I need to talk about how off the rails this film becomes once the action starts. There are some plot threads that head nowhere, including the relationship between Nurse and an outsider is a subplot that just comes and goes. The whole thing in the trailer with the portable bank is made to seem like that's the reason the Wolf King does arrive, but that is completely false as there is no mention or link between the two until it is shoehorned in at the very final moments, and the film plays too fast and loose with the rule of no body means the character is not dead. There is also the fact that the film just kind of ends out of the blue and any conflict between characters is simply forgotten about, no matter how major this conflict is. Considering Sterling's character is portrayed in the marketing as the lead character of this film, he effectively plays a bit part with the exclusion of some detective work, and the overarching villain is just another spare part for some cheap conflict to bookend the plot. The film is an absolute state during the final 30 minutes, which is a crying shame as all the character building in the first hour being not only interesting, but is surprisingly well thought out as a sequence that is driven by some good performances. Sterling K. Brown is very charismatic in the first half, and you buy into relationships between himself and his brother, and his interactions with both Sofia Boutella and Charlie Day are highly enjoyable. Dave Bautista balances the act of a hard man and a gentle soul really well, and he works outstandingly well with Jodie Foster. It's hard to believe that the big meathead that walked into the WWE in 2002 would become such a solid actor all these years later. Sofia Boutella, she is honestly an actress I always look forward to seeing on the big screen, and I feel like she is at the crux of making a breakthrough, as she is probably the second best performance in this film as a seductive assassin that tries to play it cool, but you can tell she has a heart under all that darkness. Her speeches on "you can't help what you're good at" is morbidly accurate, and she probably has my favourite sequence, which involves her counting down in French. However, the big MVP of this film is Jodie Foster. Not only does she present this calm, tough manner in front of the patients, the fact she manages to hide her anxiety from the rest of the world apart from Everest makes her a fascinating character, and having met people with anxiety, she represents the first real insight into those that feel it's just a myth. The way she juggles between the sass and the fear is really well done. For an action movie, this is a fantastic performance and is a joy to watch throughout. Goldblum unfortunately is in this film for a limited time, but he manages to steal the show in what scenes he is given. It's weird to think that after Independence Day and Jurassic Park, he just kind of vanished off the map, only to resurface as this cult icon. I suspect that within a few years, we will have a Goldblum fronted film, and I cannot wait. Unfortunately, the writing and the poorly structured plot points once the action does get going does let this film down heavily, though Bautista and Butella both are given amazing action sequences. But the whole hero vs big bad sequence is very rushed, and not once does it feel like these characters are in any real danger. So while I did enjoy the action, the whole climax just seems very messy, and if the film hadn't built all these characters so well, I would have checked out of this film very early on. Overall, this film almost ruins its build into the ground, but I did enjoy it for the characters and for the fact the film attracted some star actors to portray these characters, and that really helped the film earn more brownie points. The roles are a little mixed up, and the film is a little falsely marketed, and as some dumb amusing fun, it does the job. So Hotel Artemis is an okay cup of tea. So Hotel Artemis, has everyone seen it? Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Hit that round subscribe button for more reviews coming all the time. This is that Spikehead Podcast, signing off.